Mic was muted. Okay. All right. Now we're live. Hi, everybody. This is going to be the Snatch episode. We are going to have Chase on this episode. This episode is going to be about analyzing Chase Lindley's Snatch in pretty good detail. We have a really good side-on angle, some cool bar pad strapping software. We can kind of go frame by frame, see what's going on. He's been having some trouble with his Snatch recently. But more or less, we're going to talk about the Snatch, some of the most common error faults. Hey, Bolt Locking Key. How's it going, dude? If you submitted any form checks, I got a bunch this week that we have to go over. I think I got, 5? We have like 15 or so. I think 3 of them were the same people. I know, Phoebe. It's terrible. Chase said he was going to get candles. Oh, my God. It's tragic. Yeah, Chase's power went out, everybody, for those who are watching. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the Snatch, what it is, why someone would be doing it in, let's say, a variation of the power clean, or if you just are interested in helping lifting at all. Then we're going to go through these form checks. I think we're probably just going to go back and forth in between topics a little bit. So I'm just going to start with some form checks now. There's all of our contact information. Who should we start with? D. Reynolds, Jonathan, Nicholas Webb. Let's start with the Nicholas Webb series. We haven't seen Nick in a while. Yeah, Nick has been submitting his stuff for a hot minute, so we'll put this on the screen. All right, I have to do VLC. We're getting there, folks. Haha. Okay. All right, cool. We got Nicholas Webb here. He has at least 225 on the bar. If I remember his top squat was somewhere 275, 285-ish, I think. He was having some trouble with stance width difficulties before. It seems like he's narrowed that out now, or ironed that out, pardon me. Okay. So these are certainly slow, and he is squatting high. So we'll pause it so we can see where he's going to end up. We're going to go back just a touch. Right there. So that's his bottom position. Eventually, if you do online form checks enough, you'll be able to get that spidey sense to pause it, the exact frame with a little latency. But this is Nicholas Webb's bottom position right now. This is high, right? So if you look at the top of his knee, you kind of imagine where his thigh is going to be. It's still going to be angled up a little bit, like the landmark that we're looking for is the hips basically like the hip joint. Being slightly below the top of the knee. In this case, the hips are above the knee. So we would call this slightly high. Oh, Love Face XYZ is here. Here, girls want everyone, even you. Oh, that's mean. That's not even nice, Love Face. Even me? That stings, dog. Jesus. Okay. What can we do? So, this looks like a pretty textbook squat. He has a really solid grip. We can tell he's looking down. We can tell he's leaning over. His knees are clearly in position here. He's getting into position over, fuck, I'm flattered. Is this you, Nick Webb? Is this you, dog? Or are you talking about Love Face? Do the Love Face girls want even you, Nicholas? It's very possible. Yeah. So it's like, it seems like the things are there. So the next question is why exactly is this stopping? He could be feeling a stretch early. It could just be too heavy. And because of that, he's just trying to come up prematurely. It could be for a lot of people whenever they get out in deep water, whenever it gets really heavy. Talking about Love Face. Yeah, dog. It's pretty sad. Love Face, even you. Normally their strategy was just saying naked girl strip online fun time.
We are kicking it back old school with the 19th century lighting right now.
The 17th century from John Townsend. So show us the candle. How many candles you got going right now? You got a flashlight? What are you doing?
Yeah, I have a flashlight in my hand. If not, this is as dark as it gets.
That's what we're getting.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what it is. So before we started this, we were talking and then it just stopped. So I'm like, oh man, this is my connection. But turns out that this whole entire block or this area of the city is just out of power.
Oh, the government doesn't want you streaming.
I love it.
What's happening?
Joe Biden, man, I love him.
That's hilarious. Yeah, so check this out, man. So Love Face XYZ, look at what they said. They said, here girls want everyone, even you.
Damn, dude. That's pretty
it's fucking
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty mean, man. No, previously they've just been like online naked strip, no clothing. It's been like super hard ESL type deal. This time it's here girls want everyone, even you. So it's like, hey, can you not get a girl? This is the stream for you.
AI is
we're watching
becoming more smart, man.
I know, yeah, they're starting to insult us at the same time. We're watching Nicholas Webb sweat. This is the first form check we've done. He's essentially just stopping above depth for fun. All of the landmarks are there, so we'll see it in this bottom. So like he's leaning over, wrist position is good, knees are just about as forward as you're going to get. I'm thinking you could theoretically widen out the stance, Nick. Second to that, just keep going down. We'll see what Chase has to say. Chase may have more sage wisdom here.
No, man, his stance looks good. If anything, I'd probably see his knees bend a little bit sooner. But yeah, I'm with Alex.
Get them forward earlier, or do you mean break at the knees?
Yeah, just out and forward.
Out and forward. Okay. Quad development's coming along nicely, Nick Webb. A little action shot.
Yeah, you just got to get deeper, man.
Yeah, you just got to keep going down. This is a hard grind, dog. Oh, he's going to fail that one.
Damn.
Okay. Oh, hold on, everybody. Here's the proof of concept that he can get to a pretty deep squat. We're going to watch this grind one more time. Do you think he could have finished this in a different way?
I think so, man. He just kind of raised his chest. And also on the subsequent reps beforehand, his ass is kind of shooting back too. So he's kind of getting bent over a little bit. He's wanting to raise up out of the bottom with his chest.
Yeah, so even more knees forward then, man. So like what Chase was saying before, he was like, hey, think knees forward and out kind of as soon as you can. More knees in this situation. And then, so by the way, if we were, because if someone was wondering, well, what if it's mobility issues? What if that's just deep as he's going to get? We see right here him getting into a deep as shit squat. Hey, cool dude. Cool dude in the chat. Cool dude. If you go to Loveface XYZ, the girls will want everyone, even you.
Dude, apparently a lot of people in OKC have just lost power because now my boss is texting me about this
What's happening in OKC?
Fuck, man, I don't know.
What sort of Delta?
Maybe this is the start of the apocalypse. I don't know.
I would hope so.
It'd be pretty fucking cool if it was.
All right, let's go bench next. The guy who is spotting our boy Nicholas Webb, he's going to have gloves on, so he's in good hands. Nicholas is in good hands. Yeah, dude, salute, massive salute for doing this with no power. That's pretty sick.
Now I'm just trying to charge everything without everything dying because I'm running off my phone and I don't have my phone charged enough.
External charging, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, get Phoebe on the bike. She'll charge what she can. Nice. It's always good whenever your spotter gives you a nice little nod of approval. He's like, I didn't think he was going to make that, but he did. He didn't die. All right, so lower body positioning seems a little bit loose, but fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just a triple. Grind, grind, grind. And the beard guy is like, hell yeah, dog. All right, well, thoughts on this bench?
It seemed pretty good from the start, but then this is kind of the normalcy that we see with the benches. As it's heavy and you're grinding out more reps, your shoulder position starts basically sliding off the bench. So we want scapular retraction. You want your shoulder blades really pinned underneath the bar and to have nice contact on the bench. But you can see on the last rep how the angle of his forearm and his humerus have changed a little bit to where you can tell the shoulder blade has slipped away and it's hard for him to kind of get the bar back over the shoulder.
So we'll compare. This is just coming out of the bottom, right? So relatively vertical forearm for Webb here. And then we'll pop into this one. That's a little bit higher up. Boop, boop. Yeah, so he immediately starts to throw the elbows out as opposed to trying to get the bar back. It's a little bit more tilted out. The butt's a little bit more up. Yeah, so I think that the big thing here for this is the bar being too low. it's like it's not a depth thing. It's more of like where he's touching. It doesn't have to be even where he's touching on his chest. It's how long the bar is below the shoulder for. All right, hold on. Which one is this one? Girls here, streamer recommends. That's true. I think I did. We actually recommended them before. I'm not saying we haven't. I'm not saying we haven't recommended them, but we have. But yeah, so like south of the shoulder being here, right? So if I'm like Z-heiling right in front of me, like this is where my shoulder is, this is the lockout of the bench. If I try to lock out my bench here, it's going to be really heavy. I'm going to be doing a heavy front raise. So when I'm down at the bottom, my priority, just like the overhead press, is to get it back to like mid-foot. And mid-foot in this situation is where our shoulder is. So when people get really tired, they end up pressing it low or keeping it south of the shoulder for a little bit too long. And just being really hard. Brian Althouse in the chat. Brian is actually, he's considering doing an SS apprenticeship going out west, but then he wants to before that do another like multi-month excursion trail hike. He did the Pacific Crest Trail where he was hiking like 30 miles a day, somewhere between 20 to 30 miles a day for like 6 months. It was insane. He wants to do another one now, and I'm like, come on, son, cool your jets.
So what is that, like a multiple day journey to like?
It's like 6 months.
Holy shit!
I know.
It's just you and your pack and
it's in the boys,
sticks.
I think. Yeah, you and the boys, basically.
That's cool.
I know. This isn't interesting. We get some more information. You have a lot of belts, Nicholas. You have a lot of belts for this gym. I can't tell if this is a public gym or like just a home gym and you got some boys with you.
That's probably a home gym.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't wear these shorts in public. It's a home gym. All right, we got
Dude, I'm all for short shorts whenever you lift.
I don't know. I just scratched my thighs up.
Nah, man. That's where you just have to wear it like a badge of honor.
Okay. I mean, like, what was it? No, I bought it last night. I did it in jeans. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
What?
Yeah. It's fine. Play with the transformer bar, the Kabuki transformer bar. Have you seen those?
Yeah, it's kind of like a safety squat bar, right?
Yeah, it's a safety squat bar, but you can basically change where the weight is sitting. Ton of different positions. So like you can get it really far behind you, really far out in front of you, and then there's like 4 internal settings. So it's like, you know, a goblet squat setting or like a good morning setting, and there's 4 variations of each of those. Yeah, it's very interesting, super interesting. The upper back position is terrible. Just because the way the bar is designed. Like if you are 260, 10%, like if you're Chris Dunn, basically, if you are super fucking jacked, it's probably wonderful.
I bet.
Yeah, but for me, I was like, shit, I don't have the fucking upper back muscles to support this. How do you feel about this deadlift?
Man, this guy needs to learn how to set his lower back for sure. If anything, shove out the knees and think about shoving your stomach in between the thighs. And also right here, you can tell that he's trying to pick it up all with his back too on that little freeze frame. His knees have not done anything to do with extension, and he's lifting all with his back, making back extension even harder.
So just to pause, I'll highlight what Chase is talking about here. I moved the chat. So it's like we can see the bar maybe 3-4 inches off the ground. Look at the knee angle. And then if I reset this down to here, look at the knee angle. The bar is still on the ground. Okay. He pulls it up just a tad. The knees don't do shit.
No.
That's exactly what Chase was talking about. And what's the problems with this? Why would someone not want to do this?
One, you're pulling around your knees, so the bar path is now not a vertical bar path. We've introduced some unnecessary balance issues and a moment arm essentially on it. And also, you're leaving out muscle mass too. So it's almost kind of like a weird version of like a stiff leg, except that you've used your knees in the start position with more of a bent angle. But essentially, you're not using enough quads to help with the knee extension right off the floor. And to compensate with that, your low back is now working whenever it shouldn't be working like that.
Yeah, you've basically just changed. If you ever fix something in position, like if you just decide you're like, hey, my knees are going to stay in this angle and they're not moving for any reason, you have basically just kind of changed what we call your segment lengths, and the mechanics have to change to suit that. So like in this situation, when you're keeping the knees that bent, something's got to give somewhere. Like your back needs to be shorter somehow. It's going to get shorter by rounding at the lower back. If you open your knees up and then get your hips higher, you will have more space for your back to be nice and long. Yeah, so this is kind of a lower back thing. Lower back thing through and through. Get the hips higher. Let yourself use your legs. And this is 280 bar, I believe. So, all right, we'll finish the Nicholas Webb series up real quick, and then we'll go on to some snatching.
Dude, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to cook dinner. I just forgot that we haven't cooked yet.
What do you have in the house that you don't have to cook, Chase?
Let's see. We have like a bunch of like chips because Phoebe's kind of like on. She's going through a diet right now, so she's eating like like the popcorn chips. They're like popcorn. Yeah. So we have that. We have deli meat, so we can make some more sandwiches.
Yeah.
But I was hoping for some like ground beef or so.
Oh, dude, do sandwiches with some chips on top. The chips in between the bread. That's always a classic. Yeah. That was a classic fat 12-year-old kid move, I think. With chips in the sandwich. I feel like Phoebe's been dieting forever. Is she just trying to get shredded? Dude, is that the plan?
I don't know. You're just gonna have to talk to her about that. But I feel like she's lost enough weight. But who knows?
She's just trying to get shredded, dog. That's the most noble pursuit in life. That's it. This press is quite clean, I think.
No, actually isn't bad.
All those we've seen so far, I'd say this is the best for sure. Juan Swenson said Vom today. Thanks, Juan. We appreciate it. I wonder if Tejo knows Vom. It could be country mates. We're not sure.
Man, if anything, though, for Nicholas, I'd probably just widen out his stance a little bit more. You can still tell his knees. His knees are wanting to bend just a little bit. Or I'd try this first. Besides widening out the stance, think of the bend happening up higher. So, for instance, don't think about the hips moving forward, but think about like if Alex moves his arrow up to like where his like sternum is or where his ribs are, making those go forward. That should hopefully fix the issue. But if not, the wider the stance, the harder it is for the knees to bend.
Yeah, I've noticed that. If it's super wide, very hard for the knees. But I've noticed for a lot of people when they think about getting hips forward, they'll almost sag everything down. So like the chase cue, the cue to chase cues, like think about getting the things more up in front of you. That's a really good one. A lot of people do this kind of like weird, like limbo-y dip where they'll shoot their knees forward and they'll lean back under it. But that really solves it pretty well. All right, Chase, we're gonna look at some snatches. We'll kind of go back and forth here. How's your snatch been doing? Can you tell us about your snatch? What is a snatch?
So far, not bad, man. Like I think I've kind of made some headway with it, some progression, but it's still kind of a work. So 127, I think, is the most I've done recently. And I don't know if I made it in this video or not, but I started doing some block work to help my bar path about whenever the bar hits my knees. So from the floor, totally fine. But on the higher up, whenever we're about to hit the jump position, I just fuck it all up. And I was able to snatch on a block snatch 135. So I was pretty happy about that.
Okay, we have a good comment and then a good question, and then we'll get back to the 137. Was it 135 or 137 you said off the blocks?
135.
135. Okay. I'll add another 2 kilos for you. That's fine. Melchior, we haven't seen our resident wizard friend in a while. He said, "Can you lengthen tendons? A friend of mine was injured many years ago, and she didn't do the prescribed rehab exercises. Now her Achilles tendon is ridiculously short. 1 out of 2. Go. I tried teaching her barbell squats, but her depth is literally less than 1/4. Do you have any thoughts on this immediately off the cuff, Chase?
Something's telling me about like some atrophy. I don't really think it's something to do with the tendon, right? So can you lengthen the tendon? Yeah, kind of. If you lengthen it too much, everyone knows what happens. It ruptures, and that's bad. But it's the surgeon's job now to reattach that ruptured tendon, and they're not going to lengthen it. They're not going to shorten it. Unless something, freaky happens where they have to maybe cut the tendon, but usually they add a cadaver's tendon to it. So the length of the tendon usually remains the same. But since it's atrophied, the muscle, due to her not rehabbing it right, it could cause a little bit of the depth problem because she's just not strong enough to maybe go to a full depth squat.
Yeah. So what I'm guessing here is that like there's no mobility issue so profound in normal circumstances where someone's going to be able to get less than a quarter of depth. Like I can't, unless someone's just like, hey, I just had like severe back trauma and severe knee trauma. I owed some people some money and they just like baseball batted my knees for 2 hours. Like certainly at that point, maybe a quarter depth. But like even if you just think about it, where did my stuff go? Everything minimized. Is the stream still going, Chase?
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, amazing. Look at that. But yeah, so there's not really a situation in normal circumstances where a quarter depth is reasonable. A lot of times what happens is that after an injury like that, especially a severe one, like a ruptured Achilles tendon, that person's activity level and then relationship with physical fitness and exercise is completely gone if they even had one in the first place. So like what Chase was saying with severe atrophy, that's probably what it is. We have 2 videos on this. I think it's what to do if you can't do a squat with Andrew Lewis. And the second one is squat training the elderly with Bo Bryant. The second video, it's very interesting because you see someone who is still a more robust older person. It's like some mid-70s-year-old gentleman, and he ends up squatting with a bar and I think some 2.5s or some 5s in the end, something like that. But you work him down from being completely unable to know what a squat is, unable to do it, to then doing it correctly with a bar on his back. Whereas the Andrew Lewis video is like, hey, what if you physically you can't even do that process? Try to go through both of those teaching progressions, see what you can shake out. You don't really have to worry about her being able to get her knees forward in the situation where it's like, yeah, she ruptured her Achilles tendon, her knees can't go forward. She could theoretically just lean over more and then, use more of her hips. Like, even if someone has a really locked up ankle, they can definitely still squat, or at least closer to depth. But Melchior, please send us some videos of this.
Yeah, I'd love to see it too.
Yeah, MJDC in the chat. He's another guy who can't get below quarter squat. Here we go. I'm not sure. She cannot even do air squats with good form because she falls over very, very early in the descent. Yeah. So this is an understandable problem. So like we said, she's not going to be able to get her knees forward because of the tendon rupture. So what's going to happen is she's going to send her hips backwards. And when she sends her hips backwards, all of that weight's going to get back there as well. And then she's going to end up falling. You don't want her to fall backwards. It's a really negative experience, especially if someone's a little bit more on the fragile side. Note that both of the teaching progressions in the Andrew Lewis video, the Bo Bryant video that I talked about earlier, both of those have that person starting from a box, right? Chase, I know that you actually have to be dealing with this tomorrow with a client that you said that you're going to have to be dealing with. But how would you normally handle something like this?
Yeah, so I mean, Melchor, if she's already sitting down on something, you just have to show her how to stand back up. So you just have to get her into a more leaned over position, maybe adjust her stance a little bit, but effectively she needs to learn how to use her hips to stand up. And she can't do that on the way down because she has a very compromised tendon in her Achilles. So going down with a stable position, making sure her knees don't move anymore is going to be real hard for her. But everyone coming into the gym that I'm familiar with, whether they've done barbell training or not, they sit down and they stand back up. It doesn't matter if they're severely old, detrained, or whatever. Now we just have to modify how they do that. And then once they get comfortable with that, we maybe increase the range of motion for the stress. They're squatting to full depth. And now we effectively change the stress by incremental loading.
Yep. That's hit the nail on the head there, man. That was super concise. Quite the slam dunk answer. Yeah, Melchior, just keep us in the loop, man. All these things are really interesting for our profession, so please do tell. We're going to watch some snatching videos now. I forgot about Marcus Rule fish shake. Have you seen these, Chase? Have you seen the fish cake before? Do you know who Marcus Rule is?
No.
He's one of my favorite bodybuilders, I think. He's one of my favorite bodybuilders, top 3. I'll find it towards the end of the stream, but it's just this massive 330-some pound German man. He's standing over a blender. He puts a bottle of water in there. He opens up 3 cans of tuna. He doesn't even drain the tuna or anything. He just plops the whole can in there, blends it, and just drinks it. He's like, pretty good. Okay, man. All right, that's cool. Yeah. So have you run into this before, Chase, with people?
Yeah, I have. It's
What's normal strategy for you? I have mine you then.
man, I mean, just be real honest with her. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
I can't really fix you, but I know these guys who can. If they're not going to put it on their stream or anything like that, I'll message them privately, and they're the experts. Let them help you.
Yeah, if you just email, so we have our contact information up. We'll put it up again towards the end, and it'll be in the description as well. If you just email us, find both of our emails, you tag us in there, send it to me or else send it to Chase, vice versa, and then we can reply to you individually. That's fine. A lot of people are really shy about these things because they think they're doing something wrong. In early on in your coaching career, you'll have to say to people, it's like, hey, I'm doing this so you can help me. It's like, I'm not going to be the best coach right now. Like, I need your help to do this, not saying like I'm doing this for you, and then people are always willing to help you. So that typically works. All right. Anything else? So we covered Marcus Rule, tuna fish, protein shake.
See the bolt lock and key guide.
Here we go. Yes.
So what are some good exercises to stretch the wrist/arms to that I'm flexible enough to rack the power clean and snatch comfortably? Right now, it's very tight in wrist and elbows. Thanks, Jonathan. Jonathan, first, let's look at, are you death gripping on the power clean? For example, are you just hanging on to the rack and the hook grip as you're trying to get the bar on your shoulders? If so, just release the grip, let the bar roll back into your fingers, let it actually rest on the shoulders, not in your hands. For the snatch, I think maybe you are going too narrow, possibly. Try widening out the grip a little bit. The snatch, it really shouldn't be a problem because if you're overhead pressing, you have enough flexibility. More so, it's going to be troublesome on the power clean. If your forearms are really long and your humeruses are really short, you're basically built not to front rack a power clean, so you may be better at snatching. But there's definitely some stretches out there to where you can increase the flexibility, but the big thing is just it's going to take time.
Yeah, so it's not really flexibility. I think it's kind of all these words are tricky. So it's like we know that you're flexible enough to do it because it's like if you look at the position of your hands, and your hand's not in a crazy position, like you're here basically. Like you've gotten your hand there before. You could do it without anything in your hand. It's like you're flexible enough to do it, but it's like, is it comfortable while doing it? It's kind of like a squat. Like most people, like Nicholas Webb was a really good example. We saw him after he failed the squat. He was in like the deepest squat you've ever seen, basically. He was straight up ass to grass. But when he was actually trying to do the squat, he wasn't willing to get that deep. And I'm sure if you asked him, that would be stiff and uncomfortable as well. So like it's task specific mobility. It just takes time. I remember Chase was dealing with this whenever he started the Olympic lifting thing. He was like, man, the overhead mobility and the conditioning required to sustain those positions it's like you can only do it by doing it.
Yep.
Let's try this. So this program, by the way, I use this for any sort of like longer lift review that I'm doing for people. It's called Kinovia, Kinovea. It's Kino, absolute Kino. But it has some really nifty features. You can play multiple videos side by side in the same player, and you can sync them up. So it's like for this one, for example, left video, we've started at a different starting point than the right video, and then I can start and stop both of them at the same time.
Cool.
Regardless of their starting position. And you can adjust their speed, right? So it's like the right one you can play at half speed, the left one you can play at full speed if you're some sort of insane person. I'm not entirely sure why anyone ever used that feature, but the feature's there. So I'm going to slow all of these down to 50%, and then we'll try and line these up. So you're just about to pull off the floor. Okay. So Chase, can you tell what you're snatching here, by the way?
Yes. Well, it's hard to see from at the start position because it kind of looks like a normal deadlift, but the thing to kind of point out is the back angle. So I'm more horizontal than a normal conventional deadlift due to the artificially shortened arms with the wide grip. And it's kind of weird because the left video is kind of offset. I just fucked up with the tripod and it's all like staggered, but you can kind of see it.
Yeah. Okay, and then we'll go back down for here. So Chase, can you tell us what your typical issue has been in the snatch so far?
Yep. So I was talking to Rip a few what, this is probably about a month or two ago, that I could pull about 125, 120, or even up, and I'd get into the position, and then I just could not rack it. It just would fall out of my hands almost, or essentially every single time that I'd get underneath the bar. So he said, "Is there a loop in the bar path?" Well, I go, "No, I don't think so." So I sent him a few videos, and he said that I need to get my hips up and I need to rock back a little bit on my heels, which that fixed the initial, let's say, first pull of the snatch here, to where the bar was close to my shins, it was over the midfoot, and there was no loop in that area.
Okay, so
now
the
what I'm
loop,
experiencing,
just to show you guys what Chase is talking about, the loop that he's talking about, it's if we're looking at our lifter from the side like we are now, there's a physical loop in the bar path, right? So this app will trap the bar path, and it has it imposed from future playthroughs. So when the plate's up there, it's hard to see because Chase is, his arms and the plate is physically there. Whereas right now, this is what the loop is. So when Rip was like, "Is there a loop in the bar path?" This is what he was talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one here, right? So like he throws it forward, it comes back, and then down. There's the loop, right there. There's a loop.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting. Please continue.
No, you're good. So this brings into what Alex was talking about on the second pull. I essentially, what I feel is happening is I hit it with my hips, the bar pops out, and it's troublesome right there to rack. And that's why I always run forward to try to get my shoulder to the bar and to stabilize the load. And as it gets heavier, I can get it to, basically the finished position, but I can't stand up with it. It always dumps forward because it is forward. So the freeze, like right there on the first one. So like right there, I can stay in that position, but if I try to stand up, it'll go forward. And I usually can't, bend 130 back over to my shoulders and rack it.
So here we go. Everybody watch the left video right now, okay? And then let's try and look at almost the back of Chase's shirt, right? So if the bar still had like backwards towards the back of the room, towards Chase's heels momentum, what would happen is his butt would continue going down just a little bit. His torso would get more vertical. The bar would return over midfoot. The bar does not have that momentum right now, okay? So he's coming down. Chase is going to continue to hit the bottom, but then look at that angle of the shirt, okay? It's like his whole torso is going to shift forward, right? And then the only way out of this is to go forwards, right? So he can either stay down there and be relaxed and just let the bar dump forward. You kind of have to pull it in front of you. Or, you can stand back up with it, use your legs, and then he's going to rock it forward like this. Whoosh, and it looks like he's going to start flying, basically, This is always one of my favorite frames to see. So, Chase, what are some of the causes of someone having to throw the bar out in front for a snatch?
Could be the start position. So like what Rip was talking to me about. So if your ass is too low, now your knees are really far forward and you have to pull around your knees, or you're not setting up to where the bar is over the midfoot. Those two big things are what's going to cause a big deviation as the bar is being pulled up. The second.
So walk me through the first one. So if you're saying someone's starting with their hips really low, the bar is forward of midfoot. Does that mean it goes backwards? Does it go forward off the ground? How does that work?
So they're going to pull it off the floor forward because it's already starting forward. Now they have to pull it back, which is now causing a deviation back behind the midfoot in order to get their center of mass behind them to operate this bar center of mass over the midfoot. So there's kind of some calculations going on that you kind of feel subconsciously as you're snatching. And if let's say on this first one, if I were to pop this thing out in front at the beginning, and the bar is about, let's say, an inch away from my midfoot, then I would have to get my shoulder, more of my mass behind the bar belt in order to get this thing back over the midfoot so I can rack it.
Yeah, it introduces a bunch of complexity to the system. What I want everybody to see right now is Chase's deadlift position here, his bottom of the snatch position. So Chase's arms are angled all the way out. Are your pinkies are on the collars, right, Chase?
Yeah, I'm sleeve to sleeve.
Yeah, he's sleeve to sleeve. So his arms are really wide, which means that they're very short when viewed from the front. So if we watched him, we're like, oh man, why is Chase so bent over? This is a much more this is a lower position he normally would be in for the pull, just because his arms are so short. But we can still see his bar path coming off the ground. So we'll reset. We'll restart the path here. Okay, we're just going to watch just from this deadlift position. Watch the left video, everybody, and then look at the bar coming off the ground. Okay, now this bar path, if you guys can see this line, it's more or less straight. Okay, now what Chase was saying is that if he started it out in front of his toes, it would kind of come back a little bit as the knees would rebend. It would go out in front a little bit, and then that can introduce some further complexity into the situation. And the same thing with the second one. Second one's a really good example. So it's like bar path is just, it's super straight. There's a little bit of wiggle at the bottom, that's totally fine. It's super straight, and he's already through the jump. Any other? What are some of the other reasons? So one of the big ones that I think is knuckle, or like the knuckle or grip position. I've noticed a lot of people, if they end up, I'll try and show this here. Yeah, so if a lot of people, let's pretend if I'm pulling on the bar, what's a good angle to see this at? Pulling on the bar here. If people try to pull like this, if they pull off the ground here, whenever they start to get into tension and their hand goes from like here, they get tight with their chest, with their legs, and as they start pulling on the bar, it goes like this. I'll notice that that'll really throw the bar path off a little bit. If you'll watch really all of the high-level snatchers, cleaners, they'll all start over because it's kind of a function of hook grip at the same time. But as they get into their jump position, they'll be here, and it allows the bar path to, or it allows the line of pull on the hand to be straight, and then they can get behind the bar, right? Whereas if they were like this, it would be a different little line of pull. So one thing we always like to make sure, I always just try to say like wrist, like show me your wrist, show me your watch, something like that. And then that tends to really help people out. But that's definitely not Chase's issue. Do you think that's an issue for you, Chase?
No, I feel solid off the floor.
Okay.
Just because again, I'm so damn strong to where I can pull, the
Dude.
most ever snatched. Yo, Mick.
Hey.
Mick, check this out. Brian just said someone call Isaac Newton a fucking nerd, and then 2 seconds later, guess who shows up? Mick is here.
I mean, people have compared me to Isaac Newton. It's not hasn't been the first time. So,
what is this incredibly intelligent, handsome man doing?
Wait, who else has joined?
How you doing, dude?
Good. What are we doing? Looking at Chase's snatch.
Yeah, man, we're talking. We're looking at Chase's snatch. I'm looking at him do this 85 times.
This is not what I was expecting when I said we're going to be checking out Chase's snatch. But anyway, keep going.
I know. You're so excited.
We're still talking.
I'm very disappointed now with this.
Oh man, you got a doctor's appointment? Did you die?
Is anyone watching this stream, or is there just no one here?
Yeah, we had a bunch of people, man. And we have,
cool.
we have 7 people right now, I think.
Excellent.
But this always seems low because sometimes I'll look at YouTube afterwards and it'll say like concurrent viewers, like 20 something. But then on my what's it called? In Restream, it'll be like 3 people, and then there will be more than 3 people talking in the chat too. It's pretty fucked up.
You're pretty echoey, Alex. By the way, I don't know if anyone has told you that.
Yeah, I'm just trying a new thing out. Trying to.
I think your mic's coming through your computer, not the mic on your headset.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I think you sound fine.
So
Mick, get this.
That's better. That's better. Yeah,
Chase,
I have a.
tell me.
What?
How did
you sound? I don't know. You sound good either way. I'm not tech. Listen, I have a power outage right now, Mick, and literally I'm holding a fucking flashlight, so you can see me right now. So like look, if I could hear you and see you, I don't give a fuck. That's high tech for me right now.
Dude, you're so white you don't even need that flashlight. You can just be seen in the dark.
Yeah, shut it off real quick so we can just see.
Yeah, see, I can still see you. I still see you fine.
Yeah,
I have the candles going too. It's kind of romantic.
I know, man. You and Phoebe are gonna have like a nice candle at dinner. Have some sandwiches. It's gonna be pretty sick.
Yeah.
But they can't cook anything, so it's just gonna be like cold sandwiches. Yeah, cold sandwiches and some whey. That's it. Bless you. We got Iron Bros also, by the way. I think this could be Crown of Iron. It could be. I'm not entirely sure because it's Australia, and then there's just not many people from that place.
We have one Australian viewer.
We have a few. Actually,
we got Tricky Trick.
Yeah, we got Trick. One of my Australian clients found me on Strength Club as well. Yeah, hold on. Anything else? Any other Australians that we know of? I feel like that's the only Australian crew.
Yeah, I think so.
There was some guy from Bumbledom. I think that could have been Crown of Iron though.
It all sounds like that.
Honestly, though, Chase, you look better with this white lighting, I think, better than the yellow lighting you normally do.
I guess so.
Yeah, I think you should just do the flashlight thing from now on.
Might as well. Fuck it. I like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
retro.
Your face is the same color as the wall.
It is. Yeah.
If that blue, whatever color that blanket is on your sofa wasn't there, I don't think we'd see you.
I know. Yeah, he would just completely be a floating pair of headphones. Mick, have you tried a snatch in your life?
No, I don't think I have the shoulder flexibility for it, so I haven't bothered. I did power cleans. I've never done a snatch before. Okay,
have you done a jerk? Did you ever throw the bar up after the clean?
I may have tried it once or twice, but it's not for me.
Do you still have the barbell on your balcony?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, aim your camera at the balcony. Go and try and snatch right now, and then we'll watch it.
That bar will end up falling 20 floors down and just crushing someone.
I know. Yeah, it's just gonna be a hate crime, is what it's gonna be. It'll be mustachioed alt-right musician, javelins, destroys someone with facts and logic. What's happening with Chase? What is this?
I'm trying to fucking get my phone charged while I have.
So what's going on over there? Is there a cyclone?
Dude, I don't know what it is.
It's a twister.
I guess, no. So it was really windy today, and I don't know if something fucked up with the power lines or like something hit a transformer. But anyways, this was right before we started the stream. Like I'm talking to Alex, and then it just froze. I'm like, what the fuck? And then my lights started flickering on and off like I'm in The Exorcist. And then it just froze. And then all the lights turn off. And I'm like, shit, there's a power outage. So I thought maybe it was just like this complex or this area. But I look outside my window here and it's just dark. There's no street lights. There's nothing. So I'm like, fuck. So I messaged him real quick saying like, yeah, I'll be on. I just got to, turn on all my candles, light my.
I got to go get some. Yeah, Phoebe popped into the chat. Was like, we have no power.
It's got to light all my shit. And then as I joined, my boss texted me. He's like, hey, do y'all have power? And he lives about 3 miles away. I'm like, no. He's like, no, I don't either. And then
that's a really big radius for no power.
Yeah, he just told me that the OG&E, which is the electrical company here, isn't going to get this shit fixed until probably 10, which is like, who knows?
10? Oh my god, that's terrible.
Man, I love living in a third world country. This is awesome.
You and Phoebe are going to have to talk to each other now instead of just looking at Instagram. No, that's terrible.
No, your phone still works.
Yeah, it's all good. It's charging right now. It's like at 2%.
How are you charging it if you have no power?
Because my laptop has
so basically, once your laptop battery runs out, that's when
Chase is dead.
Well, that's when you're going to have to start like defending your home.
Yeah, get the shotgun. Put Phoebe in the closet. Fine. I like this. We should review Chase's snatch form from the tiny window while Chase is just in the center. This is educational for everybody.
Why? You can't see shit.
Okay, all right, we're coming back here now. Mick, you can continue making funny faces now that we can't see you very well. But yeah, so Chase's issue is coming off of after the jump position, basically. So you can look right here. So he's starting double knee bend has happened at this point. Okay, he's starting the final pull for triple extension, and then basically, as it's coming off of his hips or coming off of his stomach, the bar is shooting out wildly. Now, what are some strategies that people use at the highest levels to deal with this? They understand that their body can hit the bar forward, so what they do is they throw their body really far backwards. So rather than Chase being like a vertical pillar of masculinity like he is now, he would end up tilted backwards. So if you look at like some freeze frames, like if you go to like All Things Gym, they have a really good any tips on analyzing your own form?
Yeah, so I mean that's what I've kind of been doing, but go ahead, Alex, and I'll
but it's literally tilting back. So for some people at the peak of the turn, basically, as they're starting to turn their arms over, their arm angle will almost be like this, basically. They'll have pulled themselves so far backwards and the bar continues to go up that their arm will almost be horizontal. And then they'll continue their level change and then get under it. It's actually really neat to see. I should have grabbed some videos of that. Maybe I'll put some up in the next show that we do. But it's just like Chase is staying super vertical. The bar has kind of an expected bar path, but the whole thing is just kind of shifted. So like Chase's body should go more backwards. Why do you think it's not doing that, Chase? I know you've been working on this problem a lot with all the counsel.
Yeah, it's more so just trying to fix this situation with the shoulders. So another thing to tack on to what Alex was saying about, I can make my torso essentially go back, is now I can do it with my shoulders too. That's also a byproduct of the triple extension. And you can see on the one that's to the right, I kind of do that, but what's happening is I'll slam underneath it, and then now my torso is at such an angle to where I can't hang on to the bar and rack it.
Yeah, so I think what you're describing is, so it's like you've gotten backwards now. The bar's already forward, so like you could get more backwards starting at the ankles, and then when you come back under it, you're saying this angle is the unsustainable one, or what is the unsustainable?
Yep, right there at the catch,
okay,
the rack.
And you want to be where in relationship to this?
I would like to be a little bit more vertical, but due to I think how I hit my hips, like if you look on the left side and just imagine here, right there, that little loop that I just created, I'm not essentially making the bar go straight up at this point. I have introduced my hips going forward, and it's caused a deviation in the bar path to where there's a minuscule little blip in it, and I have to make up for that by racking it with a more horizontal back angle. And on the snatch, you cannot do that.
You can, but then this happens. Wee. You're in a way. So some people actively coach this, and then they try to solve it by telling their lifter to jump forwards. So theoretically, another solution could be, let's say we're here. We've put the bar forward, right? So imagine if there was no more forces imparted or momentum imparted to this bar. If it just fell straight down, Chase's feet would have to be like here, basically, right? So some of the videos that they actually play at the seminar have someone in a snatch throwing it far the fuck forward. It was super far forward.
And then no, it was behind him.
Oh, it was behind?
It was Delega, and he jumped like a foot behind.
God, what an athlete. So the behind or the forward model, basically. So it's like if you start, so if we're down here, if the Chase were to start with the bar 3-4 inches in front of midfoot, let's say out here, and then he did kind of the same thing, the bar would have a lot of backwards momentum because it would be farther away from him throwing it up and back, and then he would have to jump backwards to catch it. Whereas this is kind of the opposite situation where some people, they're fine with this, but what they do is that his feet would basically be here instead. That has a lot of other thing where it's like, it's just kind of like wasted energy. It's wasted momentum, rather than pulling the bar up better, you are having to be concerned about jumping forward or backwards. And that's just really, it's already complicated enough. Boop. Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say, by the way. So
thank you, Mick.
Alex. Yeah.
And
really,
question about like how I kind of analyze my own form is I just videotape basically every single warm-up, every single rep I do on my work sets, and I try to come up with new cues to help me understand what I'm doing wrong. So Rip has helped me kind of at the beginning with the start position, just making sure I get real uncomfortable with my hip height. I'm staying on my heels. That's fixed that. Now what I'm trying to work on is several cues of getting the bar to remain straight at the jump. So it's no longer banging it against my body, but maybe brushing my thigh, brushing my belly button. Also, if I were to touch low, which I've kind of done sometimes on some of the snatches, the bar will then pop out too. I want to touch higher, so aiming for the belly button, shaving my nipples off, flashing people with the bar, essentially lifting up my shirt. Something of that cue is going to help get this bar on that second pull back into a more favorable position.
Yeah, because it's more or less this tilt that Chase is trying to eliminate right here. Yeah. It's whenever the bar basically it's from here goes to there. This is kind of the undesirable portion, and then the rest of it's just a byproduct of that. Like it's not necessarily this is not a separate problem. All the stuff that's happening up here starts there. So like all the cues that Chase was saying, some ones that I've had a lot of success with whenever I'm coaching my guys is trying to get them to this position, but way earlier, like comically early. I'll say like get your knees as straight as you can, right? So it's like once they get past this point right here, once the double knee bend starts to happen, I'll tell them throw everything backwards, fall backwards, and then get your legs straight so that you can end up here, right there. But you'll notice you're more rotated around the ankles. Sometimes people have a lot of success with it. Other times, it seems to be 50-50 on that cue. We're trying to figure that one out. I would say do you think this is one of the more complicated problems that Olympic lifting has? Or like, where would you triage this if you're, let's say, rank? If you had to rank the problems that most lifters have in their snatch.
In their snatch, probably arm pulls for one.
Yeah.
Two, would just be fixing the jump position. So what I mean by that is basically getting extension, but having the bar follow your extension. So right there, the bar is not following me, but I'm going back, and it's not being over the midfoot, and there's no vertical bar path. And there's really not going to be a vertical bar path with the snatch, but it can be a lot more clean than this. I think those are the two big ones.
Certainly, yeah. The Chinese have a little bit of an interesting approach to this. If you watch a lot of their training videos, they'll do a lot of snatch high pulls.
And drugs.
Basic. Hey, no one in the Olympics has ever done drugs.
It's the fish head.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's the icing the balls thing.
That's right. Fish heads and icing the balls.
I'm gonna ice the balls, constantly icing the balls. But yeah, no one in the Olympics has ever done drugs. True number fact. Fact number one. Okay, science tells us that no one in the Olympics has ever done drugs.
There's no reason to.
Chase, is that at your house? The sirens?
No, I thought that was
That's
Mick. Okay, gotcha. They heard me talk poorly about science, and they decided to shut the stream down.
We made unfavorable contributions to the Chinese party. So
yeah, that's true.
We lost our social credit. But so the Chinese have it interesting. They do a ton of high pulls from the snatch position, and they'll try to really enforce, like, once I'm up, once the bar is weightless and I'm working on my turn, I'm thinking about getting my elbows up and back to kind of assist in it. So that, like, what Chase was saying, he was like, yeah, it's like I'm going backwards, the bar is not following me. This is basically to help the bar follow you. You know, because some people will say it's like, you know, you have to pull yourself under the bar. Sometimes you have to pull the bar to you as you're starting this. And it's interesting. Like, I think this is one of those problems that changes depending on how heavy you are versus how heavy the bar is. And it's like, this is heavier than Chase, but not by like a tremendous amount, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly. So like as Chase gets stronger, his problems, his cues, and all of that are going to change as well.
Yeah, I had a question about that. I remember Nick talking about, you know, this problem of the bar path being solved by itself as the weight gets heavy, because obviously the heavier it gets, the more like the bar just wants to go up and down. Is that going to be the same with this? Because I mean that weight there, is that, I feel like that's not really
127. So my
pounds,
best
or it's not 120. It's 127.
That's kilos.
Kilos. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yep.
So my best is 132. So if go to like the bigger view of this, so I have a snatch of 125 and then 127. On the 125, you can see there's a little bit more error to it.
Is it this one? Is it white plates on the end? Let's see.
That's 130.
So do you want this one or do you want a different one?
Sure, I don't care.
Okay.
But anyways, you know, you're right about, or Nick's right about, the heavier it is, you are essentially moving around the bar. The bar has to travel in a straight vertical line. At the lighter weights, I can basically manipulate it into whatever position I want because I'm just strong enough to do that.
Yep.
But I was going to say, like, remember whenever you had the two videos up, Alex, comparing those two? Anyways, if you looked on, like, it was the 125 one. It was the video on the left. I had a bunch of deviation going on. I moved a lot. And the bar path was a little bit more wonky versus the 127 on the right. The bar path was totally fine.
Let's do this so we can see the bar path.
So
it's like
software you're using.
It's called Keynovia. I've been using it for quite some time. Anytime I do extensive online stuff with people, like for like a longer form check series, I'll use this. Path hacking, you can play 3 videos at the same time. You can sync them all up. It's pretty neat. So even like the severity of this loop, like Chase was saying, so like to tail to Mick's question, like as it gets heavier, it enforces its will more. basically. So it's like if Chase put 150 on the bar, he'd certainly be able to pull it, sufficiently high. He may not be able to get under it or rack it. But the path of that bar will be relatively more consistent. The problem is that you can't just go to that heavier weight because you don't have kind of the skill foundation to handle the end of it. It's not like a keg toss where it's like who can throw it the absolute highest and the hardest no matter what. Because then there's no skill component in controlling it. It's just the power output, whereas this is the power output and then a skill of controlling it. So it's not like we can put 160 on the bar and say, hey, now it's going to be easier because 160 is going to stay more straight, right? Chase has to go from 137.5 to 140 to 142.5 to so on and so forth. Yeah, hopefully this will be more informative. Oop. Okay, so this one didn't get through the full catch. We just got to about here. Chase, what are your thoughts on this one? How'd you feel about this one?
This is the thing that always pisses me off, man, because I can get underneath it. I can, pull it the straightest I feel like I can possibly.
Oh yeah,
but
bar path is super straight.
Yeah, I cannot just fucking stand up with it in the rack position. So this is the thing that I always get very frustrated on, and it just feels very unstable as I try to, overhead squat it up out of the bottom. And that's the thing that, this is the conundrum that a lot of coaches have been trying to talk to me about, maybe coming up with different ideas. So one of them has been, try doing some more overhead squats or get your rack position really damn strong to where I can handle that inefficiency, that, that little deviation there. Yeah. Because if I have 160 overhead and I overhead squat it, 130 shouldn't be that big of an issue. But still, what was that?
So do you when you do your split jerk, what foot do you put backwards?
It's the right one.
Yeah.
So you can tell there.
Yeah. Does this happen often for you?
No, for some reason.
And what we're talking about, by the way, everybody. Just for reference's sake, Chase understood what I was saying. If we watch his right foot, the foot closest to the camera, it's going to go backwards on this one, which isn't. It's not really going to be helpful. And I asked him what his split jerk is. So the split jerk is the second component of the clean and jerk lift. You can do a squat jerk or a split jerk, and then that's whenever your one foot shoots forward, one foot shoots backwards, and you kind of end up in this interesting lunge position. A lot of times, if you see someone end up pulling a foot back on a snatch, it's going to be the foot that they also jerk with, and then that is what's happening with your boy here.
Yeah, I think it's just I got tired. So this is, I'm working up to a heavy miss, and I just fucking am thinking about just trying to get the motherfucker up at this point, and I'm not really considering anything else. So probably not finishing the jump as well as I needed to could have fucked me up, and I just kind of I'm trying to stagger it, try to get underneath it more.
So when we're freezing here, how do you feel about the top? This is, I would say, about the apex of your jump with your body. It's not the top of the bar's path. How do you feel about this? Do you want to be more anywhere?
Like this seems fine to me. If anything, I'd like to see a little bit more shrug, maybe not back with the shoulders, but like towards my ears. And I think that's the part that I'm missing because, is as you play it more forward, the bar has continued going up, but I'm too far behind the bar to then rack it.
Yeah. Like you got more. You try to get more behind the bar, especially with this foot. That's when the right foot starts to come back. The bar doesn't come with you. The bar goes forward.
No.
And then it dumps off. We're 58 minutes in. We'll finish up with a form check or two, and then we'll call it.
Did we get through many form checks?
We got through a good bit actually. Yeah.
Did you get through the one that's not a form check? Did you see that video in there?
What is it?
Is it new?
No, it's been in there for a couple of weeks. I just think we haven't got to it yet. But
is it Vinay, the Indian talk show one? Or
that one.
Show? Yeah, I have not played that one. No, I have not.
So what is an Indian talk show?
I don't know what it. I have no idea what it is. Someone just uploaded that video, and
that's awesome.
All right, yeah, we're gonna put D Reynolds up on the stage here.
Sweet D Reynolds.
Yeah, sweet D. This is a tall, thin man as well, so it works out pretty well. Boop. Okay, so this is our bottom position. It's pretty loosey-goosey. But American flag T-shirt, so pretty sick.
A patriot.
A true patriot. These guys are doing incline benching on the deadlifting platform. That's pretty cool.
Hell yeah, that's how we do it in high school.
But that
I
guy
once
does
saw-
have a girl with him, so I mean, maybe he's winning after all.
I once saw somebody doing trap bar deadlifts on the platform, and it was like quite a lot of weight on it. Probably would have been 140, 150 kilograms. And every time he dumped that, like dropped the bar down, or it just left a massive dent in the wood.
Fuck
And
yeah.
I was just
mean
looking
on
at
the wood portion?
on the wood, yeah, because it's narrow,
It's
like
so
the plates.
narrow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I was just looking at him going, man, I didn't say anything.
What a
You know,
badass.
it wasn't
What a
my
fucking
gym.
badass.
Yeah.
And he would be shot in America, in a significant amount of American states. That man would be immediately executed.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah. How do we feel with the squat, guys?
Man, overall, these are pretty good. Just cut it off and kind of sit back a little bit more in the bottom. You can tell he's kind of drifting into the knees and almost starting it with his knees. I like to see a little bit more leaning over and then cutting it off, staying in the hips.
Yeah, nailed it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Mick,
I think he's
things to add?
Yeah, his head seems to be sort of shifting down as he's going down. He ends up looking like right at the floor in front of him. Do you think that's an issue?
So whenever you're at the bottom, it's always helpful to kind of imagine what the upper back looks like. It's a little bit hard here. He has more of a forward head position at the top than he does at the bottom. So like right here, it's 100% jamming his head forward. You were like super right. And then as he gets to the bottom, that actually gets a little bit less severe. It's a ton of people do that. They'll think like, oh, I need to get my upper back tight. So they'll fucking shove their head forward. And as they get down to the bottom, it'll come back up. It's not super great for him. For some people, it causes neck problems, but it's not the end of the world. I think maybe widen up the stance a little bit too. I think he may be too narrow, which is kind of causing him to get really loose, get really deep. That's D. We did Nicholas Webb. We got another update from Leo Sod as well, so we'll check Leo out.
This guy's back. Told us he was told us he was going to change gyms 2 years ago. Whenever the first time we looked at this guy, and he's still at the same weird bloody disco
Dude, why
gym
would he
in
ever
Brazil.
leave? It's fucking awesome.
I know, man. Yeah, so he said he's been restarting. He said he was restarting his LP. So he took a break from training. Last time was 84 kilos. This is more than 84 kilos now, and he's coming back.
What did we give him last time?
He was way too narrow last time, so we told him to widen up a little bit.
Is he a bit wide now?
I think his toes are, man.
Toe angle's too wide, yeah.
Yeah, his heel position seems fine. Just kind of creep in the toes a little bit. And other than that, just probably lean over a little bit sooner too.
More sooner lean?
Yep.
Okay.
Because right there, I mean, the change in back angle is what's causing me to say that. On the way down, he seems a little bit more vertical than on the way up, of course. A little bit of that is because he's getting loose and he's kind of coming back up with his ass. But I want him a little bit more in an advantageous position with his back angle.
Okay, I completely agree with that. I always get a warm, fuzzy feeling whenever Chase says the things I'm going to say. I'm like, nice. We think the same thing.
Well, that's why I'm wearing this headphones so you can tell me.
Yeah. I have my Xbox Live headset on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm putting G-Lock up here because G-Lock does this with his squids. He will try to stay super vertical, and then what's happening is there's like this massive reorganization in the lower back, and it just looks it is uncomfortable and it looks uncomfortable. So instead of leaning over with your hips, so like physically rotating your pelvis around your thigh and then leaning over sufficiently early. That was fifth set at 125. Dude, your first name is Dalen? That's such a cool fucking name.
Is it Dallon or Dalon?
It has to be Dalen.
I was about to say like the Dave Chappelle skit, like Dylon.
Dylon. I don't think I've ever met anybody.
There's no apostrophe in there.
Dylon.
Dallon.
Man, that's a sick name. Yeah, so 425, that's great bar speed, man. That's great bar speed.
Yeah, it looks pretty easy.
You're going to get a ton of training stimulus around the quads if you keep going that deep and then making it super knee heavy. If you're trying to like min-max weight on the bar, try and get some more hips in there. And then that's it. But if we watch Leo's mid back here, right? So what Chase is suggesting is that the lean starts at the hips and he does it earlier. And then what Leo is going to do, he's going to try and stay at the same back angle. And then now there's going to be wrinkles in the shirt. Now the spine is going to reorganize under load halfway down, and it's going to move a little bit more and more as the rep goes on. So it's like you can never get super tight brace with it because your back position is just kind of really constantly changing. Yeah, so chase the spot on there and then pull the toes in. That's the only other thing. There's also no safeties in this gym. I haven't seen a single safety bar in this gym the entire time.
The safety's in the lighting.
Yeah, it's whenever your blood splatters everywhere from falling on the floor, you'll be able to see it with the black light. But yeah, we've seen Leo is kind of one of the OGs.
Is it in a cargo container? This gym?
Was he one of the Brazilian fellows?
Yeah, he's in Brazil, I think.
Okay, he was one of the Huays. Okay, hold on. We got one from Hardy. We'll check out Hardy's. The Calf Master Hardy.
He did send me a little thing to ask. I'm just going to pull it up.
Okay. All right. So we got Hardy in the chat here. Or not Hardy. We got Hardy's videos, excuse me, from his SQLID.
He said, "Hey guys, I'm back at 145 kilograms. Last rep feels like my lower back collapses. Any advice?" This was from the second set.
Okay. So second set, his lower back is going to implode.
Where does this guy live?
I don't know. I would like to know where SQ Me's sells plates locally, what their shipping radius is. I can't imagine someone orders those internationally or something like that.
Yeah, you see his heels popped up then on that one.
Dalen, that's great, man. If you're 5'11" with that short of a torso and you're moving that bar that quickly, that's a pretty sick squat. Yeah, keep riding that home. You're gonna have a great deadlift, by the way, with a short torso. It's gonna feel like your hips are super high, but like the actual amount of rotation you have to do, it's very little. Hopefully you have long arms. Like couldn't really tell from that, but hopefully you were blessed with long arms.
Man, if anything, I think Hardy's squat here, he's just kind of bouncing into his knees, and then on the way up, of course, he's getting more bent over, and now his back is having to work that much harder. So he's losing kind of tightness as he bounces. Low back probably lost some tightness, and now he's just kind of tweaked his back on the way up.
How do you feel about this motion, this forward-backwards motion? Whoop.
I do not like it. Yeah. So you're drifting into the knees. You're gonna have to think about bouncing off your ass, Hardy, or like think about stretching back the hamstrings more. Weight on the heels at the bottom, something of that nature, to get out of the knees and just make the bar go straight down.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's just inconsistency in position. I think I think the heels. I think you may want to widen up your stance a little bit as well to help with that stretch. So it's like to help find a stretch in the hamstrings and the adductors when you're coming out of the bottom. You can widen the stance out. The stance is like more or less fine. You're still getting the depth and everything, but being wider may help you find that. Get out of the knees. You're basically just like jamming into your knees, and then that's where that kind of forward backwards motion is at the end.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just about it. Everything else I think is totally fine, right? More or less fine.
Yeah, not bad. I like to see his grip in a little bit narrower too. He's kind of getting relaxed, and I don't know. There's just a lot of extra movement happening in this lift.
Yeah, a lot of wiggling around. I think, especially like if you look at your heels kind of do this little pop up at the end too. That like it's not the end of the world, but it's certainly not desirable, is what I would say. All right, I think that's it. We're at hour 7, guys.
Jeez.
I know, Mick. You're working hard.
Time's money. Time's money.
Hey, tomorrow's President's Day, guys. Do you have any plans to honor any president? That's your favorite?
I'm gonna fucking snatch $1 billion for my
$1 billion
man.
That's so many.
My favorite man, Joe Biden.
I love that band, the Presidents of the United States of America. Do you guys know that band?
No.
They have that song Peaches. You know that song Peaches?
Oh, I know what you're talking
Peaches, Peaches for me. Yeah, they're cool. I like those guys. I saw them live in Australia about 25 years ago.
All right, hold on.
That's all I have to add to that.
Cool. Thanks, Mick.
Yeah.
They're commonly referred to as PUSA, P-U-S-A.
Yeah.
Oh wow, man! They were 19 years active, 1993 to 1998.
Yeah, I reckon I saw them in '96.
Wow. Dude, they came. So they had a 4-year hiatus, and they came back from 2002 to 2015. And that's quite the career. I don't think I know any songs from these people. That's what
you got to know that song "Peaches." You know,
I know what Nick is talking about.
Chase knows it.
What Peaches? All right, I'll look for it. Oh, by the way, you didn't see it. I'll try and pull it up. Check this out, Mick. The robots are being so fucking mean now.
I got to tell you something, Alex. Since you put my email address in on the live stream, whatever week it was, when you typed it into that thing, we were looking at houses for Chase, and you put my email address. You know how much spam I've been getting? Like every day, people are sharing Google documents with me. Oh, I'll read the last one out that they send me.
My God.
I haven't got it up here, man. But it's just my inbox has exploded since you did that. So,
did you sell any houses? Did you sell that house?
No, I'm just selling houses. I think I'm going to get hacked. I think that's what's going to happen because you know, put your own damn email address in next time.
Well, I put in my address, your email, and Chase's phone number.
Has it? Well, you know, I wish you had put my.
I haven't had any calls. So.
Oh God, no! Here's what you need to do, Mick. You need to go to loveface.xyz. Here, even
Can
girls...
we go to it and have a look what it is?
I mean, I guess. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe not on the live stream. Let's have a look what it is.
Loveface.xyz.
It's loading.
Yeah, I'm pulling my window up as well.
It's a cam girl website.
This is such weird web design.
Are you going to share your screen?
No, we can't share.
God damn.
All right. I'm going to share mine a little bit. Hold on.
Don't. There's full-on frontal nudity on it.
So, but there's not on mine for some reason. I think I use a weird browser. I use Vivaldi. I don't use Chrome or Firefox or something like that. So I'm just seeing text.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's a cam girl website, and probably best not to bring it up.
But yeah,
people,
so here's
people
what I'm
can
saying.
go there if they want. It's now an official sponsor of Strength Club.
No, so check it out. So it said Loveface, here girls, everyone, they want everyone, even you. So they're saying it's like, listen, no one wants you, but here
they're trying to actually recruit us to have a cam website.
Yeah, did you see the second message? It said girls here, streamer recommends.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Full on recommended streaming site. Chase has a cam feed, I have a cam feed, Mick does not, sadly.
I want to get a shirt that just says that.
I mean, it might be one way that we could actually monetize this stream.
Yeah, that's about the only way.
Besides,
it just goes to Chase 2.0.
Besides doing ads for Manscaped.
Yeah, I would get a shirt with this on it, I think. If it just had like the emojis on it and everything, just like a clear text message, I would get that.
Oh yeah.
Just love your face. You just gotta love it.
Yeah, we got to get some shirts going, or a Discord server where people just post porn. That's one of the two options.
Yeah, that's exactly what I need in my life. Talking porn with a bunch of dudes.
It's called a club.
Form checks, man.
Yeah.
Form checks on the strokes.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Chase,
All
where
right.
can we find your Instagram, dude?
Just at Chase Lindley. And then for the backup account, Chase Lindley, or rather Chase _ Lindley.
Are you're so Chase is taking a solemn blood oath to post more things, right?
No.
How many people have recommended Olympic lifting coaches to you this week?
No one, man. I don't think, because I mean, I haven't really been posting shit because I just.
What's the one? Who's the guy they keep recommending you to get coaching from? What's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
The Catalyst Athletics guy, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
maybe we should get him. Maybe we should get him on as a guest.
I used to look at some of the weightlifting. We used to look at some of their weightlifting content, and I think just a lot of it, it seems to be prescriptive exercise in the hopes that the athlete kind of gets better solving the problem on their own. So it's like, hey, we're gonna do a bunch of block pulls, a bunch of hang pulls, a bunch of like quasi pause, the light hang pulls, a lot of muscle cleans, muscle snatches, a lot of drills to help them figure out the problem on their own. And it's kind of hard because it's like, we know Chase is already really athletic. We know Chase can do things, but he's still not solving the problem. So like how to interface with that, that's definitely an interesting problem. Yeah. Chase, at Chase Lindley. You can find me at ACO Strength. If you want to get videos on the show, where should they send them, Mick?
The old support@strength.club.
And if you want to make an offer,
loveface.xyz.
yeah, we should have loveface.xyz. I'm going to do that next time. Yeah, it's going to go right here. It's going to go Mark Ripito and then //loveface.xyz right here. Man, what else is there? I think that's it. Yeah, this is the officially recommended stream of the show, loveface.xyz. Thank you everybody for watching, and then we'll see you next week.
Yep.